Let us continue with inverse of a function practice. So given that h of x is 4x plus 1 over x minus 1, find h inverse x. So again, let y be equal to whatever the function is. So let y be equal to 4x plus 1 over x minus 1. And then the next step, we interchange x and y. So interchange x and y. So where you have y, you put x. And where you have x, you put y. And then we need to get rid of the denominator. So we times both sides by a denominator. What's the denominator? Y minus 1. So y minus 1 times the left hand side. And y minus 1 times the right hand side. Right? Now what you will find now, and this is the very reason why we're doing this, y minus 1 into itself. Y minus 1 into itself. So here you're left with just 4y plus 1. And then over here, you have a bracket and you have the y minus 1. So distribute the x. Remember how we expand the bracket again? Whatever is inside is multiplied. So whatever is the term, we multiply the term outside to everything inside, right? So distribute the x. So x times y is xy. And x times minus 1. That's minus x or minus 1x, right? Same thing. So multiply everything inside by x. No, remember we're solving for y. So we need to group all the y terms. So here on the left hand side, we have xy. I'm going to group with this 4y. So I have minus 4y. And over here, the group, the negative x over here it's positive x. And the positive one remain positive 1, right? So now we have y in both terms. We're transposing for y. So we need to factor out the y. So we factor out the y from this term, you're just left with x. You factor out the y from this term, you have minus 4 equal x plus 1. And then you're solving for y, so you divide both sides by what you want to get rid of, which is x minus 4, right? So divide both sides by x minus 4. That into itself give us 1. So y is equal to x plus 1 over x minus 4. And whatever you have for y, then that is your inverse function. Your inverse function is 4x plus 1. Sorry, I was writing the original there. X plus 1, whatever you have for y. X plus 1 over x minus 4. That's our inverse function. So here we have another one. G of x is 2x plus 3 over 4 minus x. So we are asked to find the inverse. So we'll let y be equal to whatever the function is, 2x plus 3 over 4 minus x. And after we do that, then we interchange x and y. So where you have y, you change it with x, and here we have x, you change x to y. Change x to y, right? Now you need to get rid of the denominator. Alright? After interchange, remember the next step is to solve for y. So multiply both sides by a denominator to get rid of the denominator, right? And you see what happened here on the right hand side. That's the whole purpose of why we're doing it. 4 minus y into itself. So you're left with 2y plus 3. And here, you're going to distribute the x to both terms in the bracket. So x times 4, that's 4x. And x times minus y, that's minus yx or minus xy. And then, of course, you're solving for y, so you want to group all the y terms together. Let me group them over the right-hand side here. Over here, I have 2y. If I group with this negative xy, it's now positive xy, right? And over here, I have positive 4x, which I bring forward. If I group with this positive 3, it's now minus 3. So, notice on the right-hand side here, we have y in both terms, so we're going to factor out the y. Y is a common factor. Factor out y from this term, you have 2. And factor out y from this term, it's x. Right? So 2 plus x. So you want to cancel 2 plus x, right? So you divide both sides by what you want to get rid of, 2 plus x in this case. But you have to do the same thing to both sides, right? So 2 plus x into itself is 1. Right? So you have 1y is that. So in other words, 4x minus 3 over 2 plus x or x plus 2. If you prefer x plus 2. And that's your inverse function. Whatever you get for y, that's your inverse function. So g inverse x is 4x minus 3 over 2 plus x. Let's do another problem. If f x is a third x minus 2, so we'll let y be equal to whatever the function is, which is a third x minus 2. Interchange on y, meaning where you have y, put x, and where you have x, we put y. Good? And then of course you want to get rid of the denominator, so you times each term by 3, so put what I'm doing here, so I times each term by 3. Good. So 3 times x, that's 3x. 3 times 1/3 y. 3 times 1/3 is 1, don't it? So 3 times 1/3. So 3 times that term, 3 times that term, and 3 times that term, right? So 3 times 1/3, that's 1, so 1y. And then this would be 6, or negative 6. Transposing for y, I can just add 6 to both sides. I just group this negative 6 over here. It's 3x plus 6 equal y, which means therefore that f inverse x is 3x plus 6. Alright, let's look at another one. So f of x is equal to this, 9 over 4x plus 1, find the inverse. So again, same old steps, let y be equal to 9 over 4x plus 1. Interchange x and y. So where you have y, you put x. And where you have x, you put y. Good? Now you want to get rid of the denominator. So you multiply both sides by the denominator, which is 4y plus 1. So 4y plus 1 times the left. And 4y plus 1 times the right. And you see exactly why I would do this. So 4y plus 1 into itself, we're left with 9. And over here, we have x outside, so we distribute it. So x times 4y is 4y or 4xy, right? Or 4yx if you prefer. X times 1, that's 1x. So distribute the x to both terms. Now you're solving for y. So I need to subtract x from both sides. So we'll end up with 4xy equal to, so I group this positive x over here. It's 9 minus x. Remember, you're solving for y now. You're solving for y. So you need to get rid of this 4x. So you divide both sides by what you want to get rid of, which is 4x. Which is 4x into itself. That's 1, right? So left with y. So y is 9 minus x over 4x. Which means that f inverse x is 9 minus x over 4x. Whatever you have for y, that's your f inverse x. 9 take away x over 4x.